All watches here are made by hand. We produce over 100,000 pieces per year. Each watch has an average of 25 individual components or pre-assembled parts coming in the factory here. So we talk about millions of parts. That's very craftsman artisanal. It's all individual, all by hand. Most of our watches are in the range from 1,000 francs to about 5,000 francs. That's what we call the accessible price segment. And we are able to reach that for various reasons. We use a more industrial and more efficient approach of assembly of watches, and thereby we are able to do it at a lower cost than some of our competitors. And we have decided to pass on this cost efficiency to the final consumer, and thereby reaching the younger customer, which is our prime target.
Do you believe that this is a smarter business model? It's a smarter way to do business, in the sense that you are narrowing the gap between how your manufacturing costs and what you are charging your consumer?
Well, it's in terms that it's smart, it definitely works for us. But the most important, I would say, to some extent, it's also more fair. We've seen before the crisis as well huge inflated prices for products where there was no real genuine value behind. And I believe those brands have been the most hit during the economic crisis. And to some extent we have taken advantage of that. So I believe customers, they have become much more smart.
Are you redefining the term luxury?
I'm not sure, and I absolutely would like to stay very modest that we're still relatively a small company. We have to keep this in mind. Even with 100,000 pieces, we are something, but we are still, compared to some of the big brands, still a relatively small one.
Do you find that the brand gets a lot of flack from other brands who are saying, wait a minute, you're doing something in a cheaper way?
In the beginning, nobody ever took us seriously. So that was in a way also easy, because you stayed under the radar screen. One of the other ways also to see the difference in price is the usage of materials. We have a lot of steel watches, which is a noble material, which is not as expensive, of course, as gold. So with gold watches, and especially nowadays with the huge price increases of gold, those watches are totally out of reach of younger consumers. Whereas we, with steel watches, we can reach them. And it interests them, and maybe they trade up later to a more expensive watch from one of our competitors, and there's no problem there.